Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just up here surfing the internet, and it's always funny when I come across information dealing with the whole concept of the more than one genders. You know how people say like the whole thing about being gender fluid and there's multiple genders, there's more than two genders, and the gender is a construct and all this bullshit. What I'm saying, that the leftists are trying to push on the masses, which don't make no sense. But I'm tripping on this thing I found on Facebook. Somebody posted a thing about this T-shirt. There's a T-shirt on Amazon that's saying that there's more than two genders. But if you look on the bottom, when it says like select fit type, it only has like two selections. It got men and women. So I'm just thinking like, wait a minute. Okay. On the t-shirt it says it's more than one gender. It's more than two genders, excuse me. So there's multiple genders, but yet, look down on the damn bottom, you got shirt for men, shirt for women, like regular t-shirts. So it blows the whole thing out the water. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this. No matter what kind of ideology liberals try to push, they can't distort reality. And the reality is there's only two genders. You're either XX or XY. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're from outer space or from some other planet where they got 3-4 genders or some shit. If you're born on Earth, if you're a Homo sapien, a human being, you're either XY or XX. Plain and simple. All right. So I was just tripping over this picture, and also I was there's this guy that on YouTube that I watch a lot. His name is let me try to find it. Dave Cullen, and he has a YouTube page. The YouTube page is Computing Forever, and I've been following this guy maybe since late 2016, early 2017. And I really like his content. And actually, he's like one of the first people within the so-called skeptic community that I ran into when I was surfing YouTube back in the day. It was Dave Cullen, and then I discovered Black Pigeon Speaks and a few other people. But I'll say him and Black Pigeon were like maybe the first two within the so-called skeptic community or new right, whatever you want to call it. The first guys, when I first started watching videos of this type, he's like one of the first ones I started watching, him and Black Pigeon Speaks. But Dave Cullen, he put up a new video that I really like. It's talking about this trend amongst liberals in which they teach their children that they have no gender, they can choose their gender or whatever, what I'm saying? They call them babies, which doesn't make any sense because they don't want to call their children male or female or he or she. They call them they, and I'm like, why they? That's a plural. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it, but like I said, I just play like a little clip of his video, and actually this is like his latest. This is his latest video that he uploaded today. So check this out.
Oh, let's talk about the disturbing and irresponsible trend amongst woke, edgy, progressive parents to raise their children gender neutral. Theybies, rather than babies. This is being covered by NBC News, by the way. There's a video with some cutesy music in which a married couple talks about raising their kids without a gender, and they're not telling other people what the gender of their kids is. The video has over 1,000 dislikes right now, and just 30 likes.
Are we a normal family? We have 2 kids, order Domino's for dinner sometimes.
All right, I'm ready to go.
In many ways, we fit the kind of normal stereotype.
It's this heavy emphasis on stereotypes that I always find very strange. Lefty lovies have a major problem with stereotypes, as if there's some kind of boogeyman that enslaves all human beings within a set of restrictive behaviours. In reality, just being what you are, a man who is mostly masculine, a woman who's mostly feminine, Now, these attributes are somehow oppressive or morally wrong. It's a very strange perspective, of course, but ultimately it stems from a postmodern worldview with the obsession of perceiving gender as a social construct and denying scientifically observable brain sex differences. The roles and responsibilities that men and women have differ in a society based upon their biological sex. To suggest otherwise is to undermine the essential role of female caregiving and the qualities of masculinity, which include providing for and protecting one's family and tribe. Attempting to undermine these roles through conditioning and reprogramming is, I would argue, dangerous to the health of a society.
Exactly.
Our kids, Caden and Zyler, are 3.5 years old, and we're raising them using they, them, their gender-neutral pronouns so that they can decide for themselves when, if, and how they want to identify as a gender.
My concern here would be that children who are raised in a gender-neutral fashion may be unnecessarily confused later in life when they grow up and have to overcome an entirely contrived problem created by their parents, which could easily have been avoided. There's enough adversity in life without adding to it unnecessarily. Raising one's child gender-neutral is going to make them more likely to believe that gender is nothing more than an act, a coat that people wear, and in doing so, they could be more likely to treat gender as something they can play around with. This is highly irresponsible and may increase their chances of having gender confusion in the future and potentially at least entertaining the notion of transgenderism.
So I think that knowing the sex or the gender of your child is important to other people, partially just because it's part of the social script.
By raising one's very young and impressionable children gender neutral and not telling other people what sex they are, a child's social development may be stunted when they reach puberty, and their sexual development as they reach adolescence will be mired in an extra level of complexity that is not necessary. Therefore, such a parenting practice may be indirectly setting them up for a potential fall in the future because a person's sex informs how the opposite sex interacts with them and vice versa. This is exposing children to concepts they should not and cannot be expected to understand or appreciate at their age.
But telling them that gender is something that's fluid, and a lot of people have penises, identify as being boys, but that's not something that is necessary if you feel like you're a girl, and vice versa.
At 5 years old, I actually thought that.
Oh yeah, I just want to play like a little small clip of it. And the video is like 8 minutes long, so I'm not gonna play the whole video. But it's a trip how like these parents, they try to you saw them doing yoga on the yoga mat. And they try to be as liberal, metropolitan, cosmopolitan as they can, to the point that they take it to the extreme. So whatever new trend that pops up that's considered, this the cosmopolitan metro thing, this is the progressive thing. They just jump on board it without considering the consequences of the future. You know what I'm saying? Because this whole thing about being gender fluid or being gender neutral, whatever you want to call it, it really does more damage than good. There's nothing good about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, if you have a boy, raise him as a boy. If you have a little baby girl, raise a child as a female, as a girl. Plain and simple. But it's real sad that, and I feel sorry for the kids, the children. They're gonna be messed up for the rest of their life, which is sad. But saying I just like I said, I was just watching the Dave's video when I was just a lot of thoughts were running through my head, But hopefully this trend goes away, which I doubt. I think it's gonna get worse. Probably like the next 5-10 years, you're gonna have people coming out talk about like I'm a dog, I'm a cat. Why they have to raise children as Homo sapiens? Why not raise them as a goat? It's just gonna go downhill eventually. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the danger about following trends. Just because something's considered like the latest fad, the latest trend, don't take it to the extreme in which you go against biology, people's natural biological nature, because it's always going to backfire. Regardless, no matter how you sugarcoat it, no matter if you say like this is we being progressive, this is the next phase of being human, this is the 21st century, get with the times. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You can't destroy too many years of human evolution in just one generation. It'll work like that. But like I said, I'll just give you my little 2 cents about this video.